Chris Gallagher. Thank you for joining us at the Hawaii Department of Transportation 2024 Protect Our Water Conference. I'll be your moderator for this presentation titled Refresher of Harbor's Construction and Post-Construction Program. At the end of the presentation, the speaker will have a few minutes to answer your questions. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker, Zhang. She is the environmental engineer at HDOT Harbor's Environmental or Engineering Branch Environmental Section. She is primarily responsible for developing and implementing comprehensive environmental compliance programs to satisfy the Harbor's requirements for compliance with both state and federal laws. Please help me in welcoming Zhang. Good morning, Joy.
Thank you, Chris, for the introduction. Is everyone hearing me okay all the way in the back? All right. All right, good morning, everyone, and hello, my friends, and thank you for coming to the refresher section of Harbor's construction and post-construction program this morning. And as usual, we will, through this session, we will review the major requirements of Harbor's construction and post-construction programs in terms of stormwater and environmental protection. And take this as a caveat that we will be sharing a lot of information here, so I will do my best to finish the session on time. All right, so when a construction project emerges in place, you probably have heard it so many times, and whether from your consultant or your supervisor, oh, please ensure the BMP probably implemented to stay in compliance with all those requirements. And besides the regulatory requirement, we all know that clean water is of vital importance to our own use, and as well as the wildlife and the fishing and the tourism industries as well. So moreover, it is our responsibility. It's our responsibility to protect the wildlife, including many only find here in the state of Hawaii. And to continue sustaining in this world, we need to do our part to ensure that our coastal waters are clean for every living being to enjoy. All right, here's the agenda for this session, and we'll start with brushing through the basic regulatory requirements and definitions, and then we'll go through the project process at the Harbor's. And in particular, we will discuss in depth about Harbor's construction site runoff control program and some common findings during our own inspection here at the Harbor's. And last but not the least, we will write through the Harbor's post-construction program requirements and share some popular post-construction EAP options, which are most feasible at Harbor's. The basics. Here's the basics. Here's a quick rundown of our basic regulatory requirements at Harbor's, which include the Clean Water Act and the related CFR, Code of Federal Regulation, citation by feds, and Hawaii Administrative Rules 11-54, 11-55, and all the related Hawaii revised statutes. And of course, the 3 NPDES permit, and usually known as the small MS4 permit that Harbor's need to comply to as of today. So these regs and programs and permits are the primary drivers for Harbor's stormwater management program, which is also known as the SWAM. And listed here, we have a notice of general permit coverage for Honolulu Harbor, Kalaeloa Barbers Point, and Kahului Harbor. And what does it mean? So it tells you that the construction project at these harbors are subject to Harbor's construction and post-construction stormwater management programs, including project review during the design phase and the BMP inspection during the construction phase for NPDES and C regulated and some other non-exempt projects as well. So the small MS4 permit, as the one issued to Harbor's, requires the development, implementation, and enforcement of our own SWAM, covering the 6 minimum pillars listed on this slide. So for today's session, we'll be focusing on construction site runoff control and post-construction stormwater management for the new development and the redevelopment. And both of the program manuals are available online at Harbor Stormwater website shared here. And shown below is a snippet, of our website and listing the menus and checklists and forms and the BMP plan template tailored just for Harbor's construction and the post-construction program. And here I like to emphasize the convenience of using Harbor's site-specific BMP plan template, because it really helps you and it makes your BMP plan preparation more efficient. So how exactly can construction activity potentially impact the environment? I think a majority of people attending the training session today are our expert of different forms. Yeah. So impacts can occur when stormwater runoff carries pollutants from construction sites to nearby storm drains or waterways. And then once the stormwater has entered the storm drain system, and it flows and discharges directly to the joining stick waters. Therefore, it is essential to manage and mitigate the contact with rainwater with the potential source of pollutants before they enter, our storm conveyance system. And one potential source of pollutants is from what we classify as an illicit discharge. So at Harbors, we define it to describe any non-stormwater discharge that poses a risk to the environment. And the easy way to remember this is that the only rain in the drains. The picture on this slide provides some examples of illicit discharge that should be eliminated, such as oil spills and washed paint waste and some sediment. And on this slide, they show some common pollutants that we observe from a construction site. It can include the sediment from soil erosion and excavation, vehicle fluid from equipment used on site, and some chemicals and aggregates stored on site, and also the waste stored on site, or like, for example, from a portable toilet, a concrete washout, or So sediment is one of the most common pollutants found on a construction site and in our waterways. It can be generated through, surface soil erosion or just in situ soil excavation. And those two key definitions are involved: erosion and sedimentation. Erosion is a process by which the land surface is worn away by the act of water or rain. And sedimentation is a movement or settling out of the suspended soil particles. So storm drain systems of different kinds, they're usually designed to minimize the localized floodings by collecting and diverting stormwater away from the roadways and ground surfaces. So when it comes to the ground, if not properly contain or manage the sediment, can easily fill up the storm drains and catch basins and clog up pipelines, and consequently causing some damage to local environment and the public health. And also, excessive nutrient from the sediment can increase the algae growth. And it can also cause the water to become turbid and reducing, or preventing the sunlight from penetrating through and reaching the corals, and subsequently, reducing the oxygen levels that may impact the marine life. That's the flow. And here I want to point out that if your project will disturb 1 acre or more, or it is part of a larger common plan of development or sale, it is very likely that your project would be subject to NPDES program requirement administered by village clean water branch. So So HAR 11-55, Appendix C, outline the requirement for regulated construction site. So keep in mind that all NPDES regulated construction projects within Harbor's jurisdictions, we're not only subject to DOH inspection, but also subject to Harbor's construction site inspection as well. All right, starting with this slide, we will be kind of revealing the project forming and the execution process at Harbor's, just to give the audience an overview. So a typical project at Harbor's will generally follow the process shown on the slide, which include the project scoping, then design, then review, then followed by construction. And if there's any PBMP involved, or if there's other purpose for the particular construction, and then it will also subject to the long-term operation and the maintenance. So we'll dive into this into the next few slides, and with a focus on the environment and stormwater management department. So during a project design phase, the scope of project will be finalized by the design engineers, and the relevant environment requirement will be assessed and identified. And if needed, a pre-design meeting will be held, so depend on the complexity level of the project. Right? So, and the applicable Harbor's forms listed here should be completed by the design engineers. And for so basically for non-exempt project that is less than 1 acre, the design engineer will need to complete a notification form for project less than 1 acre. And for project subject to NPDES NYC permit requirement, so in addition to the NPDES application and preparation of the suite, the design engineer will need to also complete the construction design review checklist, the post-construction BMP plan review checklist, and the post-construction stormwater mitigation plan. So I was just sitting in an airport there program, and it sounds like they have a very fancy system in place to control, not necessarily control, but manage a project from cradle to grave on the environment set. That was a very efficient system of work. And if that kind of applicable to Harbor's program here, maybe we'll do something similar to help streamline the process down the road. So all of these forms that we're talking about here can all be found on Harbor's stormwater management website. So usually following the completion of the design project, the project will then goes out for a bid through the public solicitation process. Once the contract being awarded, and the construction contractor would then work on updating or finalizing the suite. All they need to prepare a site-specific BMP plan incorporating their construction means and method, and based on the requirement in the specification alongside with some other submittal and the preps. So the updated suite of the site-specific BMP plan shall be submitted to Harbor's construction project manager or engineer for review. So it doesn't matter what project you're working on, you will know who will be your project engineer or project manager at the time. And once we finish the review and accept and approve the BMP plan, then the contractor can start the installation of the BMP mirrors prior to the start of any other on-site intrusive works. So if a project disturbs 1 acre or more, as I mentioned earlier, it's subject to NPDES permit requirement, and the suite need to be prepared following the or fulfilling the requirements of HKR 11-55 appendix. And we do have a template for the both suite and the site-specific BMP plan, which can be found on Harbor's stormwater website. And using this template can help you navigate through the plan preparation more straightforward and efficient. So we all know kind of what BMP stands for. It's a best management practice. It's required to be implemented during the construction phase in order to minimize the impact to the environment by managing and mitigating the potential pollutants at their source. It can be a structural device, a system, or maybe just a procedure practice, such as training. So training is a BMP, very important and some other examples could be like stabilized construction entrance, so you want to install fabric filters for strong drain protection purposes as well. Keep in mind that the strong drain protection is usually considered the last line of defense, and additional BMPs should be implemented to assist in preventing an illicit discharge from occurring. So Harbors has adopted the city technical rules, the BMP manual for construction, which provide information about the design details that should be followed. Any applicable BMPs from highways or airport, their construction BMP manuals can be considered acceptable. So the BMP listed here is some of the examples from city, county, their construction. I'm not going through the list, and you can review it in detail once you visit our website and find out yourself and find all the details. But if you're working on a roadway paving or repair project, please ensure you want to implement the BMP listed on this slide and the next, such as you want to pave when rain is forecasted, and you want to burn up all the storm drains, and you want to minimize some other non-stormwater runoff as well, and you don't want to overload your trucks, and you want to minimize airborne dust by using sprinkler water on the site, and the list can go on and on. All right, next we'll be talking about Harbor's stormwater BMP inspections. And also we will share Harbor's expectations during active construction phase. So Harbor's stormwater management program requires the inspections of a non-exempt project, and those regulated by NPDES NOIC permit at those three harbors, namely Honolulu Harbor, Hawaii Butters Point, and Kapolei. So these inspections are conducted to identify the potential or active discharge of pollutants and to ensure deficiencies are corrected to stay in compliance and to avoid being cited by regulatory agencies. All harbor inspections include initial, recurring, and the final inspections to be conducted by qualifying inspectors. So the initial inspection will be conducted after all the applicable site BMPs have been installed. And for the list of BMPs, usually we refer to the site-specific BMP plan or the suite submitted for review and accepted by Harbors. Any deficiencies or potential violation noted during this inspection must be corrected prior to any further ground intrusive activities. And once the construction work has started, Harbors will conduct a recurring BMP inspection for the duration of the project. And this will occur once every 2 weeks during the wet season, which we define from October through March, and once every 2 months from April to September, which we consider the dry season. And all the deficiencies and the potential violation noted during these inspections may lead to enforcement actions if not corrected promptly. And a copy of this inspection report will be furnished to the contractor within 5 calendar days. Then a final inspection will occur once construction work is completed and the site is permanently stabilized. That means no open soil and everything either stabilized or paved over. And at the same time, the inspection will also serve to ensure that the permanent BMP is called up during the design are properly installed according to the specification. Deficiencies and potential violations noted during the final inspection must be corrected as well prior to the completion of the project. And note that final payment can be held until all corrective actions are. So those are kind of standard language usually we have either in the program manual or in the contract document. And at Harbor, so we do exempt a certain type of project from inspections. So this project usually brings minimal impact to the environment, such as a minor land disturbance, the pole, sign, fencing installation, utility repair works, the pavement repair project, or some other minimal soil disturbance repair and maintenance. All right, in the next following slide, we will discuss some common findings noticed from Harbor's inspection in the past. So the first one is the BMP is not available or updated. Remember that the BMP is a living document and will provide the basic information not just to the inspector, but more importantly to the people working on the construction site. So it's a key document to maintain on site or easily acceptable at certain areas. So it should be promptly updated when necessary and it must be kept on site. And make sure you want to reminder to obtain your project engineer approval prior to updating the plan. So make sure you get your consensus from Harbor's engineer before you update it. The second one is stabilize the construction entrance. Well, it's part of the construction project. We know it's avoidable, but still we manage the sediment to the best of the practical level. So the tracking the sediment onto the adjacent public road is something that is easily visible to both the inspectors and to the public, and it can become a source for airborne dust and therefore become a nuisance. And it can also easily be carried away into nearby storm drains if not cleared out promptly. So therefore, it is important that the construction entrance have a proper BMP installed and maintained regularly when needed. So in general, a stabilized construction entrance should consist of minimum 50 by 30 feet and covered with a 3 to 6 inches diameter aggregate over a geotextile fabric, and the maintenance, need to be carried on throughout the duration of the project as long as we have a stabilized entrance for the project. And silt fence can be used to control the sediment from a construction site. However, they must be, properly installed and maintained. So if not well maintained, the sediment may be carried offsite and result in a public complaint or an illicit discharge. So generally speaking, the silt fence should be properly installed and maintained by setting the post on the downstream side of the fence every 6 to 8 feet, and the fabric should be stretched tight, and the fence should be embedded in the ground approximately 6 inches to secure the bottom of the fence. And the goal of the silt fence is to also hold the sediment laden water so as to keep the sediment behind the fence. Maintenance will be required to remove the accumulated sediment on the silt fence when it has reached 1/3 the height of the building. And the picture at the top shows how deteriorated compost biosocks can actually, contribute pollutants if not replaced or repaired properly. So hence, you may consider select durable type of biosocks to balance the budget for a project. So from what we have observed from Harbor side, and the kind of biosock rejected is the fabric and the linen nettings tend to last longer time. So, and the basic rules of using the biosocks to burn your job site includes when you place it on ground, make sure it is in close contact with the ground surface, and the end of the socks must over that minimum 6 inches and the end of the berm should be turned up the slope to aid in containing the sediment. And the accumulated sediment must be removed when it reaches 1/3 the height of the berm. And also you want to remove or replace or repair the damaged ones in the ground as well. Erosion control netting can be used on the site to disturb the soil until the vegetation can be established in place. This may require the removal of a large rock and some other obstructions and leveling, off the ground. And the net must also be properly anchored, and this will involve, trenching in the net at least 6 inches at the top of the slope, overlapping sections of the net by 2 to 3 inches, and a stapling every 3 feet. Filter fabric plays quite an important role on construction sites. It can be used to contain the potential runoff pollutants, prevent them from discharging into the storm system. Since the storm drain inlet protection is kind of considered last line of defense, it's definitely it's a key for you to keep a majority of the pollutants out here, from the drain is installed properly in piece inside all around the storm system. And for the contractors, you should conduct a regular inspection and make sure you replace the torque filter fabric is replaced, and the accumulated debris, doesn't matter if it's close by or inside the ridge's head, and make sure they're removed properly. All right, soil cutting of the concrete is fun, but it will generate a lot of the dust and fine particles that can be easily carried away to the storm drain if not collected and disposed properly. And so in the instant picture here, and the construction workers were conducting soil cutting operations without using a proper vacuum system to collect the fine materials for collection and disposal. You can see pointing out that vacuum fine particles and without the filter, and you can see also the soil cutting is not vacuum and it's flowing to the side of the road and eventually probably going to get into the storm system. Next one, all concrete wash waters must be properly contained. So this can be accomplished by designating a container on site and remove the debris once the water has evaporated. And additionally, a cover may be needed if the rain is forecasted to prevent the container with wastewater concrete from overflowing. It is important to note that containment may only be filled up to 75 capacity, and temporary concrete washout facilities should be maintained to provide adequate coating capacity with a minimum freeboard of 4 inches for above grade facilities and 12 inch for below grade facilities. And spills and vehicle leaks are a common source of pollutants on the construction site. Vehicle and equipment should be inspected regularly, and if a leak is observed, then definitely you want to make sure that the tank you use and the spills will be cleaned properly. And all construction workers should be trained on proper spill response. That's just our expectations here. And the spill kits should be kept on site and be properly stocked. And all spills should be immediately responded to and reported to harbors and project managers and engineers. And of course, some other regulatory agency if it's exceeding the reporting threshold. Stockpiles, that's a fun part for the construction site. Stockpiles of aggregate material must be properly contained if they are to be stored for more than a day. And additionally, stockpile should be positioned away from waterways such as a drainage swale, a storm drain, stream, or some other surface water to prevent the material from being carried away in stormwater discharge. And improper disposal of a paint waste and painting equipment cleanout can introduce pollutants to the stormwater as well. So, proper containment should be set up in place to contain any, paint chips and drips, and also you want to mix and store the paint within the secondary containment setup. And lastly, you want to dispose all the paint waste. Hazardous materials, they must be properly stored on site as well, and in particularly for the liquid containers of 55 gallons and above, and they should be equipped with the secondary containment. And they should also be inspected regularly to ensure they're in good condition and properly labeled or marked. And it's highly recommended that the hazardous material be stored in covered areas to minimize exposures to the stormwater. Showing on this slide are some common findings into housekeeping and waste management. Trash and debris throughout the site can be picked up by stormwater and carried to adjacent harbors or state waters. And you probably want to make it a regular practice at your site to clean out the debris by the end of each working days. So when it comes to solid waste management and some of the good practice, including the bullet point listed over here, such as you want to remove the debris from the site and dispose the content regularly and make sure you locate your, the dumpster is 50 away from the waterways. And also, very important, segregate your hazardous waste from the ones can be recycled. So, throughout the construction phase, the enforcement actions can be implemented where necessary to ensure corrective actions will be completed timely. Enforcement will reference the hazardous swamp, the construction contract document, Hawaii revised statutes, or maybe Hawaii's administrative where applicable. And once a regulatory agency, such as the agency in their investigation and enforcement, there may be specific penalties associated with each violation that are compounded each day the violation occurs. The potential for penalties shown on this slide can be avoided if all parties working on a construction site follow the requirement, basically do the due diligence. Okay, Harbor's post-construction program. Harbor's post-construction program is considered a complementary component to the construction program. And through the next few slides, we'll discuss some requirements while providing guidance for project-specific planning, selection, and designing of a post-construction BMP to fulfill the NPDES permit and harbor swamp requirement. So post-construction BMPs are of equal importance because they will continue to, address the potential stormwater pollutants long after construction project has been completed. So for example, if a construction project is for a parking lot, and then a green parking lot, such as a forest pavers or a central grass swale to provide filtration for runoff from a paved area are considered post-construction. They can help reduce the runoff quantity, and also will also assist with the reduce the pollutants loads such as oils, grease, and some dissolvent metals. Another important thing about the post-construction BMP is that if you do include a post-construction BMP, it should be paired with an operation and maintenance plan or plan to ensure that it continue to function effectively for the life of its intended use. So post-construction BMPs must be considered and evaluated for a project disturbing land of 1 acre or more. And there's, of course, there are some exceptions which include a project mainly involving maintenance, roofing, interior renovation, some utility work, or maybe just a replacement of damaged pavement. So the design engineers will submit the permanent post-construction BMP plan checklist and also the post-construction stormwater mitigation plan to Harbor's for review. The post-construction stormwater mitigation plan, or PSMP, begins by completing an existing drainage study of the area, and the designer then identifying the source of the potential storm drain pollutants that may be present during a regular site use following the completion of the construction. And the designer would also include the drainage study, the chemicals of potential concerns, and the discussion on the selected potential, selected post-construction DMP that will address those particular concerns. And then all this information will be gathered and compiled into the PSM. And this table will provide more guidance on types of post-polluted that can be expected based on land use. And all these details can be found on Harbor's post-construction program plan. So the type of post-construction BMP is divided into three main categories. Remember, there are low-impact development, which must be considered and evaluated first, and followed by source control, and then if either are feasible, and treatment control BMPs must be evaluated. And designers can refer to city county rules guidance when developing a PSMP, and in particular the stormwater BMP guide, the rules relating to storm drainage standards. And as a rule of thumb, for when it comes to siting, for volume-based BMPs, it must be able to capture like 1 or 1.5 inch from stormwater, or if it's a flow-based BMP, it must capture and retrieve 0.4 inch of the breathing volts per hour. And okay, then the next few slides, I will just briefly share some common and permanent BMP we see around communities. The first one is to conserve the natural areas, soils, and the vegetations. And the next one is a vegetative swale. And then it followed by a planter box, and here I want to introduce a very innovative, inexpensive one which is called Plantix. That's something even you can make one introduce at first, and you can use to for zinc protein. Hydrodynamic separators. That it is designed to remove the stormwater runoff as it leaves the site. And you can spot this type of permanent BMP that is at certain area on the island already. And as part of the design of the container at Harbor's, we're planning to do some change of plan, but this is still considered a good permanent post-construction BMP. Okay, filter devices. It is ideal for areas where littering can be common, and also it can be fitted with different media to remove the toxic pollutants. Okay, so Harbor has instituted a stormwater management program to protect our coastal water and to achieve the compliance with the environmental regulations. So it is now a standard practice for construction and should be followed by all parties involved. Therefore, as part of the takeaway, I'd like to remind everyone that all projects will be reviewed prior to start. And for the project of 1 acre or more, and maybe subject to DSMIC permit, and all parties should be familiar with the construction documents such as the SWAM requirement, SWIC, city county rules, community manuals. And also, let's not forget, a successful program cannot be parties with each and everyone's support and positive participation. I think that will be all for today's training session for today. I really appreciate your time.
think there's a few minutes if anyone has any questions.
What happens if the next Congress will repeal the big water act?
What happens if the next government repeals the Clean Water Act?
The government, I don't think government can repeal it. It's in place. They have to go through a lengthy process.
Yes,
That will
the
take a
Congress
while.
repeals the big water act. What happens?
And hopefully by then I'm retired already.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you again, Joy. That now concludes this session. Thank you all for attending. The next session will begin at 11:30. Please make sure to visit the vendors in the ballroom and in the courtyard during the break, as well as take the conference questionnaire by scanning the QR code to test your knowledge of E&Ps. Thank you, guys.